All right, loves. Thank you so much for jumping on the call. We have Melissa Ludwig on our call. Freaking love this girl. She is amazing. I have seen her from baby coach, just kind of starting her journey to blossoming into this beautiful woman who is very confident and just exudes health and wellness and loving yourself, which is totally opposite of where she came from. And I'm not going to tell you a whole lot about her story because she tells it all too well to tell it for me to tell you anything about it. So I'm super excited for her to share this journey with you because it's incredibly inspiring. She's amazing. If you have any coaches that are not yet on this call, please text them really quick and tell them to come on because they do not want to miss the call. And thank you so much, Melissa. I know last night a tree fell on the power lines, like right down the street from their house, like an hour before our call last night. And she was without Wi-Fi and without power. So we had to move it to tonight. So thank you so much for jumping on tonight. And I'm glad that we could accommodate her. And I'm going to turn it over to you, girl. We're super excited and ready.
Thank you. So I know that's so crazy that you say way back when, because I remember, Karina was actually one of the first women who inspired me because, coming from where I started, I couldn't relate to the April McDonald's, who only had, 20, 30 pounds, to lose for this transformation. And I just remember seeing her, and she was one of the first women that I could relate to. And I was like, she's doing it. She's really doing it. And so I don't even know if she knows that, but, cool thing. So you rock, lady. So yeah, I have my C-bands on. It has been a rough week. So before I, share a little bit about what Beachbody has done for me, like Corey said, I need to tell you a little bit about who I was before Beachbody because, we were all someone and we were all looking for something, even if it wasn't a physical transformation. There was something you were looking for in your life that Beachbody, has filled or will fill. And it's something different for everyone. And that's what I really love about it. It's whatever you need it to be in your life. And for me, even though I thought it started with the weight, it was so much more than that. It was so much more than that, I didn't even know that I needed to get into. But I've suffered with depression my entire life. For as long as I can remember. I've always been called dramatic or the drama queen or, oh, Melissa's crying again. That's just, and I saw it as a weakness. And so, I never sought help for my depression. And then my best friend killed himself as a result of a car accident 2.5 years before that, my freshman year in college. He jumped off a bridge because, it was too hard to fight that fight after the accident, after the recovery. And I fought that fight with him in the hospital or in his rehab facility. I would drive up there every day after school. So, I was in that fight with him. So when he jumped off that bridge, I felt like my heart jumped off that bridge and I didn't handle it very well. So a few weeks after that, I went back to school. I think I made it one day and I ended up leaving that night in a straitjacket, having flicked off my dean 19, 20 something times. And I spent 3 days in a psych ward. And that was a really, really low point for me because I had always gotten really good at hiding how broken I was or how empty I felt inside. And now, half my dorm saw me being taken out in a straitjacket. And I was like, how do I even come back from that? So when I came home from the psych ward, I was on 2 antidepressants and a mood stabilizer, which is a lot for someone who's never been treated before. So, I told you that I have that, that drama about me or whatever you want to call it. I don't call it drama anymore, thanks to Beachbody. I call it a gift. But, it killed all of that. And I was like a zombie. Instead of feeling everything, I felt nothing. And I gained 40 pounds in 4 months, and that started my struggle with weight. People really didn't see the struggle with weight for me because I hid from cameras, and I hit it well when I gained the weight, but I was always, gaining it or losing it. And this journey is the third time that I've lost more than 30 pounds in my life. And that's a lot of weight to lose 3 times. Like I've ridden the yo-yo. I had clothes in my closet that ranged from a size 6 to a 16 because I never threw anything away, because I never stayed anywhere long enough to throw away clothes. And I was on one of the uphill climbs. Well, after the meds made me gain that much weight, I started self-medicating. And so I took myself off meds, and then I started medicating with alcohol, which I'll get to that later. But so, it got a little better when I met my husband. And for anyone who has met my husband, or if you see me posting about him, he's the most amazing man ever. But after us being together for a year, I broke up with him because I didn't even think that I deserved to be loved like that. I didn't think that I deserved someone that nice. And I mean, we were best friends. We lived together. We worked together before we started dating. He was my best friend in the whole world. And I didn't think that I deserved him so much that I broke his heart and mine. And, that was a low for me. And even when, we got back together, like I never had any confidence in, myself, or, I always felt like, my Facebook looked like I scrolled through my Facebook and compared myself to everyone on my newsfeed, and I always came up short. I didn't know how to live a life without comparing myself to someone else and, never matching up. That was just my attitude about myself. My depression takes form in self-sabotage, and I was literally taking myself out of the game of life every day, and I was hiding it all. And so then I gained 35 pounds that I just lost, because the only way I know how to lose it at that time was not a lifestyle. It was like 2 hours at the gym and lean cuisines and slim fast meal bars. And, one thing happens in your life and you don't go back, and that's it. And then I gained the weight back, and that was the cycle. And then, so I got pregnant with my daughter, and I gained over 70 pounds in that pregnancy. And I like to give the pre-story to that, because I don't want people to think that this was just pregnancy weight. This is a struggle that I've had like forever, but it wasn't until after I had this baby that I was breastfeeding that it mattered how I did it. And that is what changed everything, because I had to do it the right way. I was keeping her alive. So I reached out to my sister, and she told me that I had to get a challenge pack, and I was on unpaid maternity leave. So I got strawberry Shakeology and T25 as a birthday present, split between my mom and my mother-in-law. And then she wouldn't even let me, like, I wanted to sign up for the discount. So then she made me pay the $40, and I never even got it refunded because the challenge pack wasn't in my name. So sneaky little double there. So, and she asked me, when I told her I wanted the discount, I'm very frugal. She asked me if I wanted to coach. She told me that she thought I would be amazing at it. It's right up my alley. And I told her no. I told her that I was no one to inspire anyone else. And I was so broken and so, lost that I had nothing for myself, let alone anything to give anybody else. Because at that time, that was 100% true. Like, I have maybe 6 pictures of me and my daughter in the first 6 months of her life. I refused to have my picture taken. People weren't allowed to put it on Facebook. Like, it was a rule in my family. And I was hiding from my life. So I started drinking the shakes, which I thought I would hate because I told my sister I don't drink my food. And it took like 2 days of being able to make a meal in under 60 seconds and drink it with one hand. And it's a new nursing mom. And I was like, I am in, like, I'm a lifer. And I started with T25, which in hindsight was probably a bad decision, a bad recommendation on the coach part. And my sister will say that. But, that's when we didn't have BOD. So, you kind of went on the latest release, and I really love BOD because it allows people to truly start wherever they need to be, no matter what's hot on the market right now. So I started with T25, and I had to modify Tanya, and there was only 2 workouts that I could even do. And I'm still really stuck in that comparison game. So when Sean's like, Tanya's had a baby, Tanya and I were done. Tanya had a 6-pack. Like, I just had a baby and I didn't look anything like Tanya. And I was like, nope, sorry. And, I tried a couple times after that, but I couldn't get into it. I thought I was a quitter. I thought I was a failure. Like, I couldn't even do one modified push-up on my knees when I started. And then a few months later, 21 Day Fix came out. And I remember having a conversation with myself in my bedroom. And I tell a lot of my clients about this moment because it was, I think, truly the moment that, I found my why, and I knew why I was going to keep pushing forward, because I had a talk with myself and I said, all right, Melissa, what are you going to do? Are you going to try again? Are you going to try, like actually try? Or can you love who you are? Because you're not going to be the wife that has to have her shirt on and the lights off anymore. You're not going to be the mom who puts herself down in front of her daughter. Or you're not going to be the mom who calls herself fat in front of her kids. Because I didn't want to be that mom. I've wanted to be a mom as long as I can remember, but not the mom that I was. And I had a daughter. And I remember like things in my childhood where my mom would put herself down, or she would compare me to my sisters, and how it made me feel. And I was like, I don't want to do that to her. And, I knew deep down that I couldn't love who I was because I didn't even recognize myself. And, I wasn't me, I was just an empty shell of me, like going through the motions. And so I decided to give the 21 Day Fix a try. And, I wanted more kids, and my pregnancy with Elsie was hell. I had to see a chiropractor every day. I wasn't allowed to exercise. Everything hurt. And I wanted a pregnancy at a healthy weight, in a healthy body, with a good fighting chance of being active and, enjoying it, because like, I wouldn't let people take my pictures. I didn't get maternity pictures. Like, no, I didn't even want pictures taken at my baby shower. Like, I hated everything about my body in that process. And I hate that. I wanted a chance to love the miracle that was happening, because I deserve that. Should have been there the first time. I feel bad that it wasn't. I'm not, putting my heavy self down, but mentally I wasn't there, and I wanted to be. But all I knew is that had to start with the weight. So, the 21 Day Fix changed my life because I needed the containers. I didn't understand food. They really taught me how to look at food, because when people would tell me to count my calories, I never would. I hated counting calories, and I didn't understand it because I was like, if I'm supposed to eat more fresh foods, they don't come with a label. So what? Like, I'm not keeping charts in my kitchen to like look at. No, like, I'm just lazy. I'm not going to do that. So it really taught me. And then 21 Day Fix was the first program that Beachbody did this, and I absolutely love it. And it's my favorite thing about UB too. But I loved Kat, and I needed Kat. I needed somebody on there that didn't have a 6-pack, who was doing it, who I could relate to. And I loved that. And every time I say this, every time I do this call, heads shake, because other women needed Kat too. And my favorite thing about UV2 is that every woman on there is older and bigger, and they are loving it, and they are having the time of their lives. And I love that because I needed that. First of all, if I had to go to a gym to do this, I wouldn't have done it. I used to lock my husband in our bedroom and work out. And if he got out, I would stop. I couldn't even let him see me. And it's like, he's my favorite person to work out with now, but like, I wasn't in that place. I needed the privacy. I needed to do it on my own. I needed to fumble through the workouts and kick my butt. And I couldn't do that if somebody was watching me, because I was embarrassed of how out of shape I was. And I, so I loved Kat. Kat was my girl. I would even have to modify Kat, but I just kept following her. And then it was a couple months later, I saw my sister at Summit, and I only worked for 6 months after I had my daughter, because when I went back to work, it was a really awful situation. They wanted me to quit because they could pay my assistant 2/3 what they could pay me. And they realized while I was gone that I trained her very well and she could do my job. So they wanted me to quit. They couldn't fire me because of FMLA. So this I don't even know how to describe her because I would use words that I don't normally use. She was 19, no experience and no degree. And I'm pretty sure she was sleeping with my boss when I came back, but she would call me names and, scream at me behind closed doors in the office. She would, not let me use my own office to pump. I mean, it was awful. And I didn't have any fight. So I let her push me down every day. I let her push me down further and further in that hole. And I would cry all the time. Like, I can't live this life. And we had free family childcare for Elsie for the first 6 months. And then I was going to have to start paying for someone else to watch her while I was going to work to be harassed at a job that I used to love. And I was like, I don't want to do this. So we saved up everything in those 6 months because Mark was still in law school. He wasn't even employed. And then I quit, and I knew we had about 6 months in our savings. And a month later, I saw my sister at this thing called Summit. And this is before anybody filtered their Facebook pictures. So she posted like 120 pictures in 3 days. And I was like, why are these people so happy? Because I was still so miserable. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter the size of the woman because I was...
I'm hoping she'll sign off and come back. It's a really flattering picture, though. Candid camera. Melissa, where did you go? She's just getting to the good parts, too. Oh, there she goes. Signed off. She should pop right back on now. Nobody. How are you feeling, Marguerite? Not so good, huh?
No, not so much. But it's all for good purpose, right? That's what I keep telling myself.
Oh, there she is. Yeah, only 8 more months to go.
Right. Yay.
I don't know what happened. Did you guys all still stay here?
Yeah, you were like, you're frozen.
I'm sure I make some prize faces when I freeze. One time I was
I thought that's a good candid shot.
One time I was telling my challenge group or my coaches to not post pictures of them making out with their Shaco, and the picture was like me, and I didn't even have a shaker mug, but I was imitating it. It was like me like this. And I was like, oh my God, it's awful. I was like, what was I even doing? And they were like, you were talking about not making out with Shaco. And I was like, does not look like that.
Oh my God.
This is still recording. Good stuff. Okay, anyways.
All right.
So she told me that I needed to buy a ticket, which I did. And then she told me that I needed to start sharing my journey. And I was like, I don't know. Because the first picture that I took that she made me take, I refused to look at the picture, and I didn't even see it for 6 months. I had my husband send it to my sister. I probably cried for an hour that my husband even had to take that picture of me. And, it was bad. I was just very unhappy. And so I remember the first transformation that I shared. It was actually, I took the second picture at her house, and I posted it on my way home from North Carolina. And I cried the whole way home from North Carolina to Pittsburgh, about that post. And then I kept crying because people were sending me such sweet messages and, such love. And I was so scared to post that picture because I didn't want people to know how low I had gotten. I built up a lot of walls to hide that out. And I didn't want to expose the truth. But, people don't want people who are faking it. They want to see the struggle, because when people are watching you, the people who need help, there's a successful phase of your life and there's a struggle phase of your life. And most of the people who need our help are in the struggle phase. So if all you're talking about is your successes, then they can't relate. And so, I started sharing things that I thought I would never share, like being in the psych ward and my depression. And, and the more that I realize who I am and the more that I, get more confident and stronger in being me, the more I share about myself that I wanted to take to my grave. Like the things that I really truly hated about myself have now become my strengths and my ability to help people. And that's really cool because that's something that I hid from my entire life. And now they're my gifts, if that makes sense. So I was doing 21 Day Fix in PIO, and I was actually like pretty stuck in my journey. I was in the 160s for like 6-7 months. And, worst plateau of my journey. And someone said to me in the challenge groups, well, how many programs have you done? And I said, I do 21 Day Fix and PIO. And they said, well, how many times have you completed them? And I said, well, I push play every day and I complete the whole workout. And yeah. And so somebody was like, you don't follow the schedule? And I was like, no, because when I started, I could only do 2 workouts. And so that's how I started. I just thought, pushing play every day was better than not pushing play. And so I committed to 60 days of PIO. And, I went to this dream team training about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago now, I don't know. And they wanted you to hashtag your years. And they wanted us to hashtag 2016 and 2017. And I have to go back 1 year earlier than that, because even when my sister, I told my sister I wanted a coach, like she told me about coach basics and the vital behaviors. And I was like, I don't need that. I came from background in sales and marketing. Like I could sell ice to Eskimos if I wanted.
I'm thinking it's got to be her Wi-Fi because everybody else seems fine.
Hello.
Hello.
Am I there? Am I there again? I'm on my phone. I don't know what's up with my laptop. Am I good?
Yeah, you're golden. So let's roll with it.
I'm sorry. Okay. Whew, that's annoying. So I went home from that I turned to my husband and I said, that's going to be me. Like I'm going to be on that stage and I'm going to be a success story because these women are starting from a place very similar to me. And they're in a place where I would love to be. And so I was like, all right, so I need to give these vital behaviors a shot. I need to give personal development a shot. I thought personal development was like self-help, and I was like, I don't need that. I am the epitome of somebody who needed personal development. Let me just tell you. So everybody needs it. So I went home that night and I messaged 2 girls from our team page who I didn't even know. And I was like, will you be my success partner? Will you be in this thing called Team Cup with me next month? And from never hitting Success Club, I hit Success Club 26 in January. In February on Team Cup, our team got all of the prizes. I hit Success Club 36 and I was diamond 4 weeks after that Super Friday because I dove into the system, into the business. And I was like, holy shit, this is how you change lives. But it has to start with yours. And I was doing Chalene Johnson's Car Smart and I really liked it. So when I had to pick a program, I picked PIO. And I swear, Chalene changed me in those 60 days. If you guys have ever worked out with her, she's amazing. I needed her, telling me all these wonderful, positive things about myself every day. And PIO was a workout that I could do. I'm not really great at cardio, but, it's low intensity. I was doing it in a nursing tank top and underwear. Still following Michelle, still modifying, but doing it. So I modified PIO for 60 days, took 3 trips in that time, and lost 11 pounds and 14 inches, and like had a waist for the first time, and I couldn't even tell you. And also during that PIO transformation, like I was listening to Shalene's Car Smart, and I remember she just kept saying in there, like, you know, what is the one thing holding you back from the person who you really want to be? And I was thinking and thinking and thinking, and like every time I would dismiss it, but the same thing came up every time I asked myself that question. And it was the one thing that I couldn't share about myself. It was my drinking. And, you know, I wasn't drunk every day, but I am an alcoholic binge drinker. Like if I have one, I have 15, 16. And, you know, I didn't know how to be a coach and be an alcoholic. I didn't know how I was going to be an inspiration when, you know, I'm trying to get my shit together. And I did, you know, I decided to quit drinking halfway through PIO. So my sobriety date is April 25th, 2015. So I have 2 years sober, and I haven't attended until last week when I went with a friend for Family Day. I haven't attended a single meeting, and I didn't do it with inpatient or outpatient rehab. And it's not that it wasn't available to me, but I've done the meetings in the past. I know what they're about. I know what the 12 steps are. And I had something a little different. I had my own support system. I had something that was pushing me to do work on myself, make amends, and become a better person. I had personal development. My dad is 34 years sober. I knew he was, you know, a phone call away, and I called him bawling on the cruise. I FaceTimed him. I mean, I have done it when I needed to. And I knew a meeting was just a text away, but I say it all the time that BP is my AA. Because, you know, it can be whatever you want it to be in your life. And I needed a support system of somebody who was going to push me to be better and who was going to keep me accountable for what was best for me. And I mean, that's what AA is. Only this way, I didn't have to focus on all the stuff that I did when I was drinking, because I didn't wait for the bottom to fall out before I made a change. And a lot of people that are there, you know, they're kind of close to their bottom and they need to claw their way back up. And I didn't want to focus on yesterday. I just wanted to become a better person tomorrow. And that's what BB allowed me to do. And so I went on to Insanity Max 30, which is insane because I'm not a cardio person, and I modified that. And it took me 2 years, but I finally did a round of 21 Day Fix, like worst coach ever. Then I did 21 Day Fix Extreme, still modifying. And then at this point, I'd lost 95 pounds. I was in the 130s. And, you know, I had that goal of losing 100 pounds. And I kind of just like, I didn't care about it anymore. Like, honestly, like it wasn't about the weight. Like, yeah, I mean, it was still so close, but hang on, Elsie! Thanks, Els! Ice cream, spoiler alert. Apparently we're having ice cream today, guys. Coaches are people too. I don't want it right now, though. No. I'm not going to eat it on the call. Can you take it back downstairs? Give it to Daddy. I'll have one later. Thanks, babe. Sorry. And you know, I was really healthy. I was feeling good. So we decided that I decided that I was at a place where I was comfortable getting pregnant. And so I kind of threw that 100-pound goal like out the window, knowing that I'm going to be putting on the pounds, not taking them off. And I was totally okay with that, which was huge because I was pushing for that 100 pounds for a long time. And I was just like, I was really totally fine giving it up because it wasn't about the weight anymore. I had gotten there. You know, 2015 was the year of change for me. I did 10 months of EMDR therapy. I quit drinking. I did more personal development in 2015 than maybe ever. Well, actually, that's not true. I kind of do more and more every day. But, you know, it was the first year that I had actually done any work on myself, probably ever in my life. And so we got pregnant the first month. Thank you, Shakeology. And then a week later, we were in a car accident and I went into a windshield. And I remember being in the trauma unit, same trauma unit as my friend was so many years before that. I was in a neck brace. They told me that I had a skull fracture because I had a hematoma so huge it was like a softball on my head, that I had 5 broken bones in my hand and a broken wrist, like a torn knee, a possible broken ankle, and a broken neck. And I was just like, wow, that's a bad day. And I share this too because, you know, there are a lot of moms out there, and we do this all the time. I always wear my seatbelt, and I had taken my seatbelt off, I think, to get something for Elsie in the back, and I didn't put it on because we were like 500 yards from Chipotle, and someone ran a red light and T-boned us head on, and I went into that windshield in that moment. It only takes one. So, and the doctors all told me if I had that extra 95 pounds on me, I would have went through the windshield. I probably would have been paralyzed, or they would have been talking to my husband alone, or even worse, I would have made it, because I would have never made it through 2016 had I not had Beachbody and that year of change. I would have never made it. That accident changed every piece of my story. I've never felt pain like that before. They told me that I wasn't pregnant, and I was relieved because I had fought really hard for that good pregnancy, and that would not have been it at all. That would have been a fight that probably would have killed me, because it was a hard enough fight to do on my own. I am a recovered alcoholic and had to take narcotics, pain meds, for 2 months for the pain. And that was hard because I've seen a lot of alcoholics who have years, decades of sobriety, and they get back on pills and go back to drinking or worse. And I was scared of my sobriety. I was scared of what was I going to do as a coach. I couldn't work out. I could barely get around my house. I wasn't allowed to hold my daughter. I couldn't drive. If I would have had any other job, I would have been fired. I had appointments every day for months. I couldn't even drive for 2 months. And then after that, I couldn't hold anything. And I have chronic back pain. I still have chronic back pain 17 months later. I get injections in my back every 6 weeks to help with the pain. I did 5 months of PT, which helped, but got us to a point that we realized that this is probably just as good as it's going to get. I'm actually going through acupuncture right now, and apparently acupuncture is at its best when someone is pregnant because they have more essence in their body. So fingers crossed that this gets rid of my pain once and for all. That would be a miracle. But even if it doesn't, I mean, all of my doctors, all of my therapists, everyone who has ever worked with me has told me that I'm their best patient. They love what's in Shakeology. They love the ingredients. I add turmeric to my shakes every day. I am so in tuned and aware of my body because I have spent 3 years working on it. I listen to my body and I respect it. I treat it right. I work out when I can, which is more than not, because my workouts are the only time that I don't feel pain. Like my body likes to move, and it's crazy because nobody in their right mind would be like, what's going to help my back pain? Burpees? Like, no. So if it wasn't already a part of my life, it wouldn't have been after. But it was about 4 weeks after the accident, and it was also in winter, and I have SAD, which is the winter blues. And I was starting to go to that dark place. I didn't have exercise in my life anymore. When they told me I wasn't pregnant, I was fine. When they told me that I couldn't work out for 3 months, I cried. And I actually have pictures of Mark. He brought me in my Shakeology the next morning, and I'm drinking it with that Lego on my arm and a neck brace in the hospital, drinking my Shakeology the day after the accident because I knew that it was best for me. And I knew that, I was going to have a long road to recovery, and I needed all of my tools. So it was about 4 weeks after the accident, I just couldn't snap out of my depression. It was starting to get the best of me, and I couldn't really do anything. But laying around made my pain even worse. So, it was kind of a catch-22. I was laying around, I was in more pain. And I just, I didn't see how I was going to be this, who I was supposed to be, like a coach. And I was a hypocrite. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't work out. People brought me pastas and casseroles for like a month. And so, I had all this in my system, and I had all the drugs and all the MRIs and all the x-rays and all the CAT scans. And I was like, I need to do a cleanse. And so, I have pictures of me in a neck brace with my cleanse before and after. And I couldn't even tell you how much weight I lost, because I don't even think I tracked it. I was doing it all for my mental state. And I woke up on day 4 and I was back to Melissa. Like I saw the positive again. I told myself, like, all right, so you have to find the positive in every situation now. Like you just have to do this, because you can't go back to that dark place. And, as hard as it was to push forward, to push through that pain, I knew what was behind me. I knew what that life was like that I had before Beachbody, the giving up life. And it wasn't much of a life. And I also knew what could have been ahead of me. And that was that bridge that Kirk was on. And I didn't want to be there either, because I know what the fight can do to you. I know how hard it is. And so I had to have something bigger than the fight. And so I used it as my purpose. I dove into coaching. I told anyone who would listen that exercise is a privilege and not a punishment. And I told all my challengers that I needed their sweaty selfies, that I needed people to push play for me, because I couldn't. And so many people out there are more willing to do something for someone else than themselves. And it got a lot of people started. And it was probably, it was another realization for me that my struggles can really help people. Because if you can put a positive spin on every negative thing that happens in your life, first of all, you're going to be a lot happier in life. But you're going to inspire the shit out of people, because bad stuff happens. Life happens. People go into windshields every day. What do you do with it? You can't control what happens to you tomorrow, but you can stack the deck in your favor. And you can play what cards you have. And so that's what I did. And I shared every bit of, my journey. I shared therapies on Monday when I was crying. I shared the fact that it took me a month to get over the fact that I felt like I was robbed of my why. I wanted a pregnancy that was easier and less pain, and now my life was pain, and I thought that was a sick joke. I was really angry with God for a while, because I did everything right. I did everything that I was supposed to do. And yet, I had no idea if I would ever have a day in my life without pain. And that is a mental mindfuck. So 2016 was the year of fighting. I fought all year. All year I fought. But you know what? I hit that 100-pound loss mark before I was cleared to work out. And that was really cool. It was really cool to say. Like, that was Shakeology and the containers. Like, I mean, this is 80% nutrition. And after that cleanse, I was like, all right, like, I can't eat food like that. It's going to set me into depression. Like, I can't, do that. I have to treat my body right. I have to do everything in my power to give myself the best chance. And, I have videos of me doing size like T-Rex, because I couldn't even, like, in my soft collar, because I couldn't even, like, put my hands above my head, doing Insanity Max modified to the modify of the modifier with a soft collar on. And I even have a video of me in my actual neck brace doing the band walks from 21 Day Fix Extreme, because you can do that with a broken neck. I ran a free lunge group and I did 10 lunges a day. Like, you can always do something. And there's so many people out there who fight so hard to do the minimum. And then there are other people out there who can and yet don't. And then there's a whole different group of people out there who can have every ability and want to take a pill or have surgery or a wrap, or they want the easy way out. And I'm telling you, like, if you find the easy way out, you're going to find yourself back there every single time. You have to make the changes if you want the changes in your life. And that's what we do. That's what we preach. If you want to be successful in this business, you need to change yourself from the inside out and get good at sharing that. And that's how we change lives. We change ourselves and we show others how we're changing. And that's how they get on your bus. That's how they get on board, because, you know, people need to see your before they can picture their after. It took me 11 months after the accident before I completed a program. It took me 6 months before I worked out 5 days in a row. Like, it was not a slow recovery or a quick recovery. It was not, you know, what they said it would be. They told me when I got my neck brace off that I would be pain-free in 4 weeks. That was anything but true. And it was core to force. And, you know, I love all of our programs for a different reason. And I needed that one at that time in my life. Like, I needed the win. I needed to fight every day. I needed to feel like a fighter after a year of fighting. And then after core to force, and at this point, I think the pictures that, like, my best picture was 2.5 years into my journey. And that is 100% modification. I followed the modifiers the whole time. I didn't unmodify a single program until Hammer and Chisel, which was 3 years after I started my journey, 1 year post broken neck. I'm not the most physically fit person, but, like, these aren't like modified muscles. Like, they're real muscles by following the modifier. Like, our programs are amazing. They're so amazing that you don't even have to work out with Sean. You can work out with Danielle Natoni or his husband Scott and still get there. And I think that speaks volume too about, you know, my journey. Is that I'm not the most, my sister, like, she can kick my butt in any workout, she'll kick my butt. And that's fine, because I'm stronger than I was, you know. I've improved, and that's it. And you know what? That's something that I would have never let go before. I would have never been okay with that, because I was always comparing myself to everyone else. And you know what? I can't do what other people can do. But you know what? I can make it through a whole Insanity Max 30 workout. I can do that. And when I first started, I couldn't even do 225. So, you know, I'm better than I used to be. And now that's good enough for me, which is huge in itself. So Hammer and Chisel was awesome, because I was lifting the same amount of weights as Autumn, if not more. And for somebody who couldn't even, like, keep up with Kat when they started, that was huge, because I consider Hammer and Chisel one of our most challenging programs. And after that, I tried dynamic strength again, because when I did it the first time, I only did that workout once, and I modified every single push-up, because if I did too much work on my chest, I undid the work I was doing on my back in PT. So I actually, like, couldn't do a crap ton of push-ups. But I tried it after I did Hammer and Chisel, just because I was like, I really think now I'm the strongest that I've ever been. And I could do every single one of those push-ups. Like, I did the whole thing, like, without, like, modifying most of it. I don't think I modified until, like, the 6th round. And it's serious. There are those Sphinx blasters, there are those, like, crocodile, like, I don't even know what these stupid things are. Dynamic strength is basically 1,001 ways to do push-ups, and it's awful. But it's really cool when you can do them, or even do one. And so I urge you, like, if you're a Modify follower like me, that's cool. I'm not harping on it at all. But next time you do a workout that you've done before, like, try to follow the first one. Even if it's just for 5 seconds, try it. And then go back to the modifier. And know that you couldn't have done that when you started. And that's cool. You got to give yourself credit. You got to give yourself small trophies along the way, because it's a long journey. And if you don't celebrate the small successes that you have throughout, you know, you'll never celebrate. You'll wait until the end. Like, I would have waited until I was at my goal weight until I would have started coaching if it was up to me. And I would have missed out on changing a lot of lives, because I feel like it's even harder for me to share now that I'm done with it, because people can relate so much more when you're going through it. And so if you're going through it right now, you have such a gift. You have a gift, because you're going through it. Literally, they're watching you change before their eyes. And that's so cool. And I love that I can say that I've been through it, because I know how hard it is to keep going and stay motivated. And so 2017 has been the year of blessings. I feel like I put in all the work, I did all the fighting, and now, like, all of my dreams are coming true. It's just crazy. This is actually the first trip that we are taking that we don't have to have someone watch my cat we had to put my cat down a month and a half ago, and I've had her for 16 and a half years. I still can't talk about her without crying. I miss her so much. She was there for me in my darkest days, when I didn't love myself, when I didn't want to love anyone else in the world. I loved her, and she loved me. And I thought that losing her would destroy me. But I've learned through this business that when life gets hard, you dive in, you don't dive out. You know, I still showed up on social media. I was posting about my kitty because that's all I could talk about. But people can relate to that. That's, you know, showing true strength is when everyone in the world would understand if you gave up. If you know, it makes sense to everyone if you gave up, because you know what? My broken out could have easily been my out too. I've never felt pain like that. I've never had to overcome adversity like that, ever. And I think no one would have blamed me. That's true strength. When you keep going, when you had, you know, every opportunity, and no one would have even questioned you quitting. And that day that we had to put her down, I was up on my power hour at 7 a.m. And the very next day, I was up on my power hour at 7 a.m. Because you know what? It was kind of nice to think about something else for an hour, to try to help someone else for an hour a day, where I didn't have to sit and think about my own heartbreak. And sometimes it's hard. And I even shared that. I shared, you know what? It's hard to show up for other people when your heart is breaking. It's hard to be there because I do this job with my whole heart. And so sometimes it's hard to be there for somebody else when all you want to do is crawl in a hole and die. But I'm telling you, being there for all those people over the last couple of years, like anytime that I have fallen, anytime that something has happened to me, I have showered with so much love. I don't even know what to do with it. When my cat died, about the accident, like all of it, coming out on Facebook about being an alcoholic, all of it. I mean, I've never been so supported in anything or at any time in my life. And that's Beachbody. That is what putting yourself out there for other people will do for you when you need it. And so you have to be real, and you have to be raw, and you have to share, you know, the parts of you that you're not so proud of, because that's what makes you proud of them, using them for a purpose. You know, like I don't want to, you know, particularly take credit for this because, you know, it's not my goal or anything, and it's all them, not me, but I've helped like a dozen people get sober. And that's really cool. Like, that's really cool because I'm not a sponsor. Like, I don't go to AAs, and you know, it's not like I'm telling anyone else in the world that they're an alcoholic other than me. But these people that are watching you in silence, they're taking note, and, you know, they're seeing all of the good that is coming out of the choices that you're making and the changes that you're making. And, you know, it sparks something in them to do that. And that's a gift that we have, guys. So a week after I put my kitty down, I found out I was pregnant, which was amazing. And I think that she knew, because animals know that kind of stuff. And then a week after that, I found out that after 3 years of poorly submitting my photos, I was finally a Beachbody Challenge winner. I was the monthly winner for March, and I was a contestant in the quarterly $5,000 prize, and I didn't win, but a woman who lost 130 pounds and completely changed her life won. And like, how can you be mad at that? Like, every person on that board was a winner, and I'm just honored that I was even on there. And then like a week after that, I got a call from Beachbody, the producer of the Beachbody Challenge, and he told me that I am one of the final 4 women in my age group for the finalist, like summit stage finalist. And I find out that June 5th. So June 5th, I may be a finalist for the Beachbody Challenge the Beachbody Challenge. And that would mean that I will win $25,000. And we have 1 week to vote for me every day to be the $100,000 winner. And you know what? Like, I remember being at my first summit and I cried every day. I cried every day. It was like a come to Melissa moment every day. Like I couldn't believe I was working out with Shanti. He gave me a high five. It was like, ugh, all of it. And then celebration came, and that's right, I will be. Celebration came, and I just sat there and bawled at these stories on this stage. And because you know what, like when you hear someone else's story, you think about your own. You do. You think about your own. You think about where you started and, you know, what you've had to do to get where you are or where you want to go or what the potential of your life could be, you know, and that's the power of your story to other people that you need to be sharing, right? And it's been a goal of mine to be a Beachbody Challenge winner, like, since I knew it was a thing. And, you know, I'm not going to lie, last year, like, I'm sitting there, like, 7 months post broken neck, still dealing with pain out the wazoo. And I cried for a whole different reason because I wasn't on that stage. And so when they told me that they were going to produce my story regardless, that they wanted my story produced, I think that was probably the best prize for me so far, because it's my story, not someone else's, not this person who I wanted to be or that person who I wanted to be. Mine, the life that I have created, the life that I made for myself, everything that I've fought through to get where I am, me, I did that. And for someone who started from where I started, like, that's cool, because my life isn't a comparison game anymore. And, you know, I'm going to be on that stage at Summit and the world is going to hear my story. And, you know, I would pay Beachbody $100,000 just to do that. Like, so if you're not talking about the Beachbody Challenge, you're really missing out. And so I encourage you to use this opportunity to talk about it and to move your business forward. So, of course, if you see me on there on June 5th, I encourage you to use my story. But this is how I told my team, and this is how I tell everyone that I share my story with, how to use this to help your business. Because you have a rare opportunity here. You can take it completely off of you and put it as a favor. So you're going to talk to everyone who you've ever talked to about Beachbody, and people who maybe you were scared to talk about Beachbody, or just anyone that you talk to. You're going to tell them, hey, can you do me a favor? So my friend Melissa has lost 111 pounds by doing these home workouts that I do and drinking Shakeology. And, you know, she's overcome depression, alcoholism, a broken neck, chronic back pain. And now our company is going to reward her with $100,000. Because that's just stupid, guys. All right. So you're showing a true example of what this company, what we do, and that it works. And then that we pay people ridiculous amounts of money for getting their life back. It's a win all around. And they have to have a Beachbody account to vote, so you can sign them up with a free membership or a free 30-day bod trial. Either or, you know, get them in a 1-month free challenge group. Run a 1-month free challenge group in the month of June and get as many people as you possibly can to get a 30-day free trial of bod. And then you work on all month in June, seeing how they like it and getting them set up in July with an all access pass. Or you just get the free membership. And then here's the thing, like, you've dropped a huge seed. They're going to sit on that. They're going to think about that. This woman lost over 100 pounds and now they're going to give her $100,000. Like, and for a lot of people, it probably won't even be about the money. It'll be about the opportunity to change their life. And they're going to think about it. So even if they don't do anything right away, at least now they know what you do. And so there is no negative to this. I mean, you could sign up 100 free members in a week. On the week that I voted for the quarterly, I delegate my thank you notes, and she was like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, your customers, I was like, oh, if it's a free player membership, like, just give me a separate list. I had 250 people that I signed up in a week and a half. 250 people, like new customers, onto my site for me to reach out to, for me to get into a free group or get into a bod trial or something like that. And I mean, that's awesome for your business. So there's that. There's my shameless plug about the Beachbody challenge in there. And now, I can't share my screen because I'm on my phone. I will send Corey my Power Hour tracker. See, I think I have a blank one in here for tomorrow. So I know you guys won't be able to see this real well, but here's my Power Hour tracker that I use, and I really like it because it has the time list up here. So like 5 minutes, add contacts, 10 minutes, send hey girls, 10 minutes follow-ups, 10 minutes, send invites, craft post, 5 minutes, check in with challenge group, engage with likes and comments, coach online office, 531 Instagram, and update contact list. And then it has your add people, your hey girls, your follow-ups, your challenger invites, your coach invites, and then your 4 social media posts for the day. Then it even has a brain dump section over here for your to-do list, and then the vital behaviors. And so like really, it's got everything on one sheet. You got an hour, you can work this business. If you have an extra hour, you're doing your personal development and your workouts. 2 hours a day, guys. I'm telling you, if you want a 6-figure business, you're going to have to work more than in a year. You're going to have to work more than 2 hours a day. But if you want to build a slow and steady business, you can 100% do that with 2 hours a day. That's it. And if you can set your alarm, miracle morning for network marketers, listen to it, changed my life. I am not a morning person. All I needed was 1 extra hour a day. And it changed everything. My consistency, my team, everything. So how I add friends is I don't do the suggested friends on Facebook because a lot of times they're friends of my clients or my coaches or things like that, or people who I want on my team down the road and then I'm stealing their friends or whatever, or crazy people. So I go into groups of my target market. So mom groups, healthy living groups, oil groups, depression groups, like things like that. Like if you have a Bashan, get a Bashan mom group, like whatever. Find groups of your people. And a couple times a week I go in there and I mass add friends. And then every day when I go to my Power Hour, I write down 8 names. And then the next day I go into Melissa, friends, recent, and I scroll down to that last name. And then I write down 8 more for the next day. And when I start to get to the top of the list, that's when I know I need to go in and add mass more friends. So I don't add friends every day because the thing that I was running into that is like I was adding 15 people and only like 2 or 3 of them were adding me back. And I feel like people in groups often add more friends, especially if you're semi-active in the group. And then they're your target market too. So it's not like you're random and then you're trying to random hey girl somebody and it's so awkward, right? So my hey girls come from the people who like my post the day before. And this is a great way also to eval your social media. So every morning when I go into my Power Hour, I scroll into my Facebook from the day before and I give myself a quick eval. Did I jab anything about Beachbody, coaching, challenge group, any of it? Like that's the post that I go to first for my hey girls. If there wasn't one on there from the day before, then, Melissa, you need to step up your game, right? So it's a great way to like eval your social media post from the day before too. But then so my hey girls come from the people who like my post. And I try to pick a transformation or a jabbing coach of coaching or a challenge group post or something like that. Something that shows interest in what I'm doing. All right, what we're doing here, right? Something that a service I can offer them or something like that. So if you're not reaching out to your people who are liking your post, you're missing the people who are already interested. Let me just say that again. If you're working from a cold list, if you're adding your friends and writing them down on a list and then hey girling every day, well, that's great, but you're not making the most of what you're doing. The people who already like what you're doing are the people who are already semi-interested or they're supporting you. So stop reaching out to those people who are like, why do you constantly post on Facebook? And start reaching out to the people who like what you're doing, right? Because you're going to get pushback from those people and they just, need to go away, whatever. And if you start getting pushback, that is feedback that you need more friends or that those people are seeing a change in you. Because the people in our lives who we all start at the same place and then you start changing and they get all like self-aware and like, self-concerned, like, well, it puts the mirror back on them, right? So sometimes you get pushback from people when they start seeing you change and that's okay. So pushback sometimes is a good thing. So that's why I send my hey girls. And it's just something like, hey girl, thanks for the love on my post. It's always appreciated, heart, or, and then I ask them a question. If it's related to the post, I ask them a question related to the post. If not, then I scroll on their Facebook and I ask them a question about them. But I start with a genuine compliment. And a lot of times I get a hey girl message, like a message back that's like this long. It's like, I've been watching you for like a year. I love your posts. They're so inspirational, or, whatever. And I'm like, this person has literally never talked to me ever. And here they are saying that they've watched me for a year. It happens a lot. People are watching and they're liking, and that's all they're doing. So reach out, be that genuine person. Start it with a compliment. A genuine compliment, and start conversations with the people who are already liking what you're throwing out there. I form a little differently if someone likes or comments on my challenge group post, or if someone shows interest in any of my call to action posts. My forming is very specific, and I like to share this because they're good questions to ask in your forming all the time, especially if you're trying to get to a certain point where you can help someone, which is the message. So my family is like, how many people are in your house? How many people do you cook for? Do you have picky eaters? Do you have a lot of evening activities? How many times a week do you guys eat out? What's your favorite place to eat out as a family? Like, ask these questions. People don't volunteer like, oh, we eat out 3 times a week, because they know they're talking to a health and fitness coach, right? And I'm going to go downstairs and have ice cream because I'm a real person, and then I'm going to talk about it. But they don't, maybe they're not at the place where they're going to admit that. So I just ask the questions. Occupation. What do you do? Do you work a day, is it daytime? Is it nighttime hours? Are you sitting at a desk all day? Are you active? Do you have a snack, or do you have a fridge that you can pack your lunches, or do you have access to snacks at work? Or are you a stay-at-home mom and just pick the end of whatever you feed your kids? Like, ask about their occupation. How are you going to be able to help them? Because the whole point of this is you're going to explain all this stuff later when you're going through the scripts, when you're closing them. You're going to be using these specific things on how you're going to tell them how your tools are going to help them with these things. Because the biggest hesitation that most people have is, can they do it? And so your whole point of all of this up until the challenge back is to show them that you can help them do it and that they can. And then recreation, I ask them if there's ever been any kind of exercise that they've enjoyed doing. Start with what they like. Have they ever taken a Zumba class that they liked? Okay, well, on BOD, I'm going to talk about UV2 or country heat or size, right? Like, ask them if there's any activity or exercise that they've ever done that they've enjoyed doing. And then my message is clear. And then I have a script that I will also send to Corey. And it actually, some of you veterans on here, it is taken from Kelly's 21-day fix script like 2 years ago. And it works so well that I keep using it, but I've just altered it a little bit to the all access pass and added a little bit in there. So I'll just go through that real quickly with you. So I ask them if they're doing any kind of fitness nutrition plan. Then I ask them what they struggle with the most. Is it the fitness or the nutrition side? And then I ask them, what about that they struggle with? Is it the time? Is it the knowledge? Is it the prep? Is it the motivation? Is it the support? Like, what is it that you struggle with about it? What about it? Why do you fail? Basically, right? Everyone has failed in the past, or they probably wouldn't be talking to you. So find out how they've failed in the past so we can bypass that in the future, right? And then I ask them if they have a goal they'd like to achieve, what it would mean to them if they achieve that goal. And then I tell them all the stuff that I can give them. I explain a little bit about the eating plan, how you get to pick what you want from a list of foods. So, if you have picky eaters in your house, it's perfect. You get to pick what you want. You pick it, you cook it, you eat it. And it works for the whole family. You don't have to make 30 different meals a month. You don't have to buy a million different ingredients that are going to sit in your cabinet and never get used. It's perfect for families. And then I talk about a little bit about Shakeology. And then, the workouts, the online library. And I ask them, does that sound like something that will help you feel comfortable in your body? And most of the time they tell me yes. And then I tell them everything they get. And I really load it on here. Like, I really do. I'm like, okay, so you're going to get 24/7, 365 access to our online library of workouts. I'm talking every single program ever made and all the new releases as soon as they're released. You get all this access for 12 months. that also gives you a 10% discount on your shakes, which is going to save you $156 alone. You get 30 meals of Shakeology, not a bag, not a month. I say 30 meals of Shakeology. You get the color-coded containers. You get the portion fix system. You get a free t-shirt with every program you complete. You get a Shakeology shaker mug, which is great to take with you to the baseball game so you don't have to hit up the concession stand, which you said is your weakness. You get a chance to win $500 every month. I just won $1,000. Access to my private accountability groups and me as your coach. You get all of that for $160. Shakeology comes out to about $4 a day. And that's a meal you're already paying for. So, we're just eliminating one meal that you're paying for. We're replacing it with Shakeology, and it's cheaper than a Happy Meal or Starbucks. And I actually break it down to $4 a day. And I say it's cheaper than Starbucks or a Happy Meal because people will drop that easily on those and not think anything of it. I just bought my sister a latte the other day. It was like $5 at Starbucks. I was like, what? I don't drink that. I was like, are you serious? Like, this is actually really how much it is? I was like disgusted. I was like, this is like $2 more than my shake, and this is like crap, right? Like, have you ever made a post holding up $3 or $4 in your car and be like, all right, people tell me where I can get a healthy whole food lunch in my car less than 5 minutes for this amount of money? Can't beat it, right? Like, I don't have a lot of objections when I go through these scripts because I talk about it on my Facebook, because I've worked about everything. I've worked out all of the kinks with them. And so when we get to the price point, like, it's not about price with them, because honestly, like, I would have paid 100 times the amount I paid for my challenge pack for what it gave me. If I knew it would work, if people know it works, they will pay for it. They will pay for a pill to cut out 70% of their carbs or their fats or whatever if they see results that it's going to work. Surgery, same thing. That is not cheap. It is not easy. That is a serious commitment for that weight loss surgery. And people do it because they want the results. So you've got to tell them how they can get the results and share that. So then I tell, like, it's legit the deal of a lifetime, because it's got to sound like you. That's how I talk. And the perfect way to get started. So are you in? And I send a picture. I send my pictures. And my sister sends my pictures with every person she talks to. Every single one. I tell her I should have commission, but she saved my life, so we'll just call it even. And she sends my picture, and she said, this is my sister. She's lost 111 pounds, kept it off with Shakeology and the workouts. Like, and people are just like, yeah, I'm in. And then this is where most coaches are like, okay, awesome. Let me get you that link and let's get started. This is where I'm going to tell you to hang on, because you have more tools in your toolbox for both you and your client. So then I'm like, all right, I just have a couple more questions and then we can get started. What flavor of Shakeology do you want to start with? What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? So right off the bat, they're comparing Shakeology with ice cream, not some gross protein shake that they're going to hate. So that's how I kind of get an idea for what flavor they should try based on their ice cream flavor. And then I say, okay, so today with your kit, you can get a 3-day cleanse for just $45. Normally it's $70. If you've never done a cleanse, it's a great way to jumpstart into a healthy eating program. You're going to crave healthier foods. It's going to break the sugar addiction that a lot of people struggle with. It's going to, it can help your skin, your mental clarity, sleeping, stress, like so much. Cleanse is really good because we don't live in the world that we used to live in. Like, even our water needs filtered. And so you're always taking in toxins. And so a cleanse is a great way to get started. And you don't starve or anything. You get to eat real solid food 4 times a day and a shake with every meal. So what do you want to do? And, most of the time they're like, yeah, sure, let's add on the cleanse. And for the couple that don't, I've even had a few, like a month or two later, they're like, hey, I have a wedding coming up. What was that cleanse that you talked about? So at least you're offering it. Like, they know it's a tool that's available for them, even if they don't want it right then. And I've never had anybody be like, whoa, this is a scam. There's a cleanse too. Like, I don't want any of it. Like, no one has ever like talked themselves out of a challenge pack because I offer a cleanse. And then I share pictures of my last 3 cleanses, my last 2 or 3 cleanses that I have. I send them these pictures. And I tell them that you're probably going to lose 3 to 8 pounds in the first 3 days. And didn't you tell me the reason why you always quit is because you don't see results quick enough? And that right there is a lot for most people. That quick win, that instant gratification, right? That's all our society wants. So you're just offering this quick win for your clients, and you know that it's so much more than that. But for them, they're not there yet. They don't know that their body's full of toxins and that it's good for them and everything. They just want to lose the weight. So telling them that they're going to lose inches off their waist and 3 to 8 pounds in 3 days is a win. And imagine what it will do for your downline if all of your coaches started selling Kickstart challenge packs, because it's more volume and it's more commission for them. Right now, a Kickstart challenge pack with the All Access Pass is $70 commission for one person. So, just think about if every SC10 with that, that's $350 there. Whereas $250 without it. Like, that's an extra $100 a month, right? Yeah. Math is not my strong suit. And then I get their email and I set them up with the Team Beachbody mobile enrollment app, because I love that, because they can't stray from the link. I get it all started for them. I tell them they have an email waiting for them. All they have to do is add in their info, let me know when the process is, or let me know when they're done so I can make sure it processes correctly on my end, and then I get them added into my group. And that is all of that. So do you guys have any questions? You're muted again.
I don't know why that happened. You're amazing. Seriously amazing. What you have overcome, what you have pushed through, it's incredible. And I love that you put it all out there, because that's a lot of scary that a lot of people would just hold in. And it's clear like how much PD you've done to be able to put yourself out there. It's amazing. And you're very inspirational. We cannot thank you enough for sharing your story, but also sharing like those tips, because those are small little things that like, it's like that 2 millimeter shift to help you close and to help show a little bit more to your clients and to your prospects without like bombarding them and vomiting on them on different things. So it's really awesome. I think that would be really helpful for everybody and just give a different perspective, That's awesome.
And I'll send you the script, and I say script because, it still, what I said was not word for word on there, and I don't recommend copying and pasting because it needs some work, but it's a good guideline for new coaches or even seasoned coaches to ask all the necessary questions, so they know what they're getting, so they know how you're going to help them, get to their goals, because, that's really what we're doing here. So, no, I was happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing the call for us. Marguerite says, so inspirational. Thank you so much. You made me think about some things. Yeah, for sure. Marguerite's actually struggling with chronic back pain. So I think that part of your story is probably touching home for her, for sure.
Right. And you know what? So since I have so many clients with fibromyalgia and nerve damage and like nerve pain and chronic pain. And a lot of them, and Crohn's, because I share so much about that. And a lot of them, they feel better than they felt in a decade. And that, they're not doing much, but they're doing something. And, I've had coaches message me after this call and be like, I have fibro. I struggle so much with it. And I was like, do you realize the potential that you have? You could be an example for everyone out there with chronic back pain or for, fibro, because you're doing it. It doesn't matter if you're struggling through it, you're doing it. You're showing up. And people with pain know that exercise is a privilege, and that should be part of your story and what you talk about and you share. Oh my gosh, what's my favorite PD book? Depends on what I'm struggling with in my life, I guess. I guess my top favorites, I love Energy Bus. Really, really like that. Slight Edge was good. Miracle Morning for Network Marketers. I just started Get Over Your Damn Self, and I'm really loving that one. Struggling with confidence. I really liked Girl Code and Car Smart. Chalene Johnson's Car Smart. I'm telling you, that one was major for me. That I really, really liked. I just love Chalene. She's just so positive. I love Chalene for anything confidence related. I think she's really good with that. It also, You Are a Badass, but I really liked Girl Code. I thought that one was really good. And maybe Get Over Your Damn Self. That might be good for confidence too. And she talks about getting real and raw in there, which I like because I think that's part of it. I think that's really part of it. Because the more real and raw you are, the more people are going to get on your bus. And about that bus is that, so when you're sending invites to people and you're inviting them, and you're sending out these messages, and then they go to your what's the first thing you do when somebody sends you a message that you want to know more about, right? You go to their Facebook, and then, so let's say they go to your Facebook and they don't see anything about a challenge group on there. Now you're just a creepy white van picking up people on Facebook, like without any windows, right? So like you need to be talking about what you're doing on your social media on a regular basis so that when you send these messages, you're not creepy. You're not creepy. They go to your page and they're like, they don't see anything about a challenge group. What the fuck is a challenge group? And why does she want me to be in it when she doesn't even talk about it? This chick talks about everything. Right? Like you have to do both. It makes it so much easier on both ends. When you send the messages, people are already seeing the challenge group post. So they're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. Or when you send the message and they go to your page and they see the challenge group post, it doesn't matter what order it happens in, but it needs to be on both, or you're really just driving a rate mobile around Facebook, like trying to pick up random people to this thing called a challenge group. Like that's what we call it now. You need to be talking about what you're inviting to. I make a marketing plan every month. Actually don't have it with me. Sorry about that. I base it off of Melanie Mitro's. It looks exactly like this, not exactly the same, but it's pretty similar. And it takes me 15 minutes and I'm not tech savvy. I go into PicMonkey and I put in all my groups or my events. And then a week and a half before that, I do like a highlighted line, like jabbing for challenge groups and jabbing for coach groups. So I always know what I'm inviting to. I always know what I'm jabbing about because I'm always jabbing and inviting about the same thing. Like I really only talk about coaching in the second half of the month. I mean, I'm always like, saying things about coaching and what it's done for me, but I'm really pushing coaching in the second 2 weeks of the month, and the challenge groups in the first 2 weeks of the month are challenge groups because my challenge group starts on the third Monday. And then the second 2 weeks are coaching because my coach training starts on the first Monday. And so I have a system of that every month. So every month I know what I'm always inviting to, and I don't run into that like, oh shit, I have a free group starting in 2 days and I didn't even post about it, like a lot of us do. So when I follow the same schedule, like my free group runs on the first Monday of every month, and it's only like a 5 or 7 day group. Last month we did pizza goals, and we had like a whole menu of healthy pizzas, and they picked one and made them every day with us, and it was amazing. And our free group in June is going to be talk about goals, and it's going to be healthy tacos. Just trying to get the word out there, like that you don't have, this isn't a diet, like it can be fun too, so try to take your free groups. I did 5 days, 5 ways to save, because I've paid off a lot of debt and I like saving money. Like, what kind of stuff do you like to do? Like, those are the, run a depression and anxiety group for 5 days. Like, run a back pain group for 5 days. Like, actually, a lot of people probably like that. Like, how do you deal with your back pain? Anything that you deal with or you struggle with, that should be your free groups. Like, that's how you find your target market. I mean, your target market is basically who you were and what you were struggling with before Beachbody. And those are the people who you need to be reaching. And that's the stuff you need to be talking about. Oh, sorry, I rambled again.
No, you're perfectly fine, girl. Anybody else?
I saw somebody wanted me to share something. I'll share the script.
Schedule. No, I think it was your schedule, like how you.
Yes, I can do that too, because it's saved in my Facebook group and on my laptop. So I can share my marketing plan, my Power Hour tracker, and my script. I'll just send those in messages to you, and you can share them in your team page.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cool. All right, love, we won't keep you any longer. We greatly appreciate your time. Have a great vacation, family time. Yay. And have a great night. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. And hopefully we start voting on June 5th.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, make sure you do that. You reach out to people and you offer that free group or that free membership player and share Melissa's story. And it's an opportunity for you to get your foot in the door and to start conversations with people. And you're just simply asking them to help a friend out. You got to hear her story. You know who she is now, and you can share it from your own perspective and invite them to help you reward her because she's freaking kicking ass and inspiring a ton of people because of the hurdles she's overcome. So for sure, let's help her out with that. Cool. Can't wait. I definitely put the word out and we all voted for you. That's for sure. So you let us know when to go and we will be voting for you again.
Woohoo!
Yay.
All right. Have a great day, guys. Go change some lives.
All right. Love you. Good night.